Chapter 123 Predestined Fate. Fritz Pov. Receiving Hinata's signal, Fritz moved to the edge of the classroom to protect the children. He looked down at the school grounds from the classroom window on the third floor of the school building, and he visualizes an escape route in his mind. For Fritz, Hinata's order is absolute. He wouldn't think to defy it, because Hinata's predictions are always right. There's no failure in it except in the previous Demon Lord's subjugation war. It can only be said that the opponent last time was too strong. Therefore, escaping with the children according to the order this time should be the correct thing to do. Fritz can understand that bringing the children and the information back takes priority above all else. He certainly thinks that the children and himself included will just become a hindrance to Hinata, but still to just following an order without a reason is not good. So Fritz was assaulted by an uneasy feeling, or rather it was Fritz's intuition that made him think so, as the result that Fritz and the children's escape would succeed, or so it was. Hinata spoke. Hinata understood the whole layout by looking it from the sky using spatial perception. By the window are Fritz and the 4 children, the subjects she must protect. She can't let them get swallowed up by an attack. The hero walks calmly from the door near the corridor to the chair in front of Yuki. The ability of the hero is equal to her own ability or better than hers. The story of the hero sealing the storm dragon Veldora, which was the dragon kind she saw when she attacked Tempest, was famous. Can I really win against that dragon? According to Hinata's calculation, the chance of her to win against the storm dragon Veldora is low, though there is no chance of victory. If she thinks about it, the hero just woke up from a several decades long sleep, and it can be assumed that the hero is not in normal condition. Furthermore, because Yuki is in control, the hero might not be able to fully use her ability. If it's only to restrain her, then it might be possible. That's what Hinata's calculation derived. Hinata returned her katana to its sheath at once and takes the posture for Ai. And then she let out an attack to the front, not moving from her spot, using the extreme speed drawing the sword. Blind slash astral bind slash Hinata. The flash of the Iai concealed it. Countless numbers of spirit substances converged on the blade part and turned into innumerable blades that have been released as a soul restraining attack. The spirit substance that was converted into innumerable blades has the same effect as the talisman. It's a technique to bind the astral body, which is the container of the soul, not the flesh. One of Hinata's hidden attacks to seal the opponent's movement at the same time as the shockwave from the swiftness of the battle jutsu is released. The katana is a part of the spiritual armament. It's an arms which was produced from the concretization of spirit's power. Thus, the edge of the katana once again emitted a glittering brilliance. It's an action that's possible without letting the enemy predict the tactics, because it can substitute the talisman and the medium for converting the spirit substance. This would create a large advantage in a battle between fellow experts. But Yuki, speechless. Hero? His voice sounds jested, but the response doesn't show any fret either. Yuki wards off the shockwave with knife he holds in his hand. It's called a shake sword, a unique legend class weapon that Yuki possesses. This weapon is flexible, though it's usable as a knife. It can extend and be used as a whip because the weapon has a trait that makes it possible to change its shape freely. But more than its status and performance as a legend class weapon, it has an ability to absorb a fixed amount of damage until it reaches its limit. The knife can nullify all attacks it receives. However, once its capacity is reached, it can't be used until it recycles in 1 week. This time, Yuki used its ability as he sat down. The knife absorbed all the shockwaves without fail. It becomes impossible to move. It can't be helped. I'll leave the fight to you, Yuki. Although the shockwave itself is nullified, one of the blades pierced Yuki's shadow, and the restraining effect is activated. However, there's no panic in Yuki's expression. While sitting down on the chair, immobilized, he made an appeal. Yuki ordered the hero to fight Hinata. Frankly, his behavior is unnatural. She was sure she didn't miss anything observing from the start. On the other side is the hero. The hero performed a defense with transcendental sword skills to intercept each of the blade pieces. Even though it should be the first time the hero sees Hinata's attack without changing her beautiful expression at all. There's also no impatience nor despising feelings on her face. Understood, though I will kill. Is that okay, hero? The hero indifferently accepted Yuki's request, and in front of Hinata, the hero asked the question as if it was a settled matter. It's okay. It seems Hinata will not become a subordinate. It can't be helped, right? I understand. Then at least I will kill her without any suffering. Hero. The voice is devoid of emotion. The answer is as if it was scripted beforehand. The hero reminds her of a ruthless killing machine. killing machine. No, there's not even a ruthless emotion. It's just carrying out its orders. A doll. Hinata sees her appearance and thinks she also defeated her enemies without any emotion. She felt that her former self resembled the hero who was now in front of her. Hinata holds her katana, pointing the blade at her opponent's eyes, and confronts the hero, and she prays that Fritz and the others in the rear will escape quickly. When Yuki appeared a while ago, she sensed a barrier was put up surrounding the school. She believes it probably has an effect to obstruct teleportation, but they may be able to escape by transfer magic once they go out of the school. In the worst case, if they run to the Saint's Church next door, it's also possible to transfer to the headquarters using the teleportation magic information. Even if the barrier was set up around the school, they can escape once they get out of the school. Therefore, Hinata wants them to move into action quickly. However, it can be said that such a chance didn't really exist. But what Fritz and others didn't notice was that Kagari, in other words, Kazariam, was leading her men and waiting in the school grounds because it's still early morning. There are few people, although it's time for students to go to school. Since the dormitory is separate from this place, it is quite deserted. Even assuming he noticed the gathered men, they could deal with him either way. In other words, the escape route from the schoolyard has been blocked. Fritz didn't notice it, but he hesitated to believe his own intuition and taking action. It's only taken us several seconds. However, as a result, in the short time under a minute, all confusions are resolved. Hinata concentrated all of her attention on the hero. It's no use to worrying Fritz, and the others. The thing should do now is eliminate the enemy in front of her and buy time. Hinata crossed swords with the hero without taking notice of Yuki, who makes a rocket still immobilized in the chair. A natural talent and effort. Hinata takes pride in her ability that is on a near genius level. It's a fact that she remained undefeated until her defeat against Rimuru. That is not only in sword skill, but even in magic. Windblade, Hinata. The magic is activated without chanting, together with blades of wind that attack the hero from all directions. Hinata's katana draws near the hero. In contrast, the hero ignores the blades of wind and receives Hinata's katana with her own katana. Though countless wind blades hit the hero's body, they all turned into light particles and turned into magic power. It was completely prevented because of the unique skill, absolute defense, that the hero possessed. Hinata used countless magic, but everything was blocked by the hero's absolute defense and didn't give any effect. And also, Hinata's swordsmanship is completely repelled by the hero, as if she could predict it. Above all else, Hinata's katana was broken into pieces by one flash of the hero's katana. With this, it's the third time. Is it the difference between their swords, or is it the difference between their skills? Hinata's katana was easily smashed by the hero. Though the blade is reforms whenever it breaks, it definitely shows that Hinata is in a disadvantageous position. From what she had heard from other people regarding the hero's abilities, there's no indication when the unique skill Absolute Severance is used. Still, Hinata doesn't panic. The hero's sword skill is higher than her. Magic also doesn't work. Still, Hinata doesn't give up. She handles it gently, and she waits for a chance. Her budded hero's egg and her own talents make her spirit strong. Above all else, because she has people whom she should protect, and there is a place she must return to. Little by little, Hinata's sword speed rises, her concentration increases, and a crack appeared on the eggshell. Hinata runs up to the height of the existence called hero. I will not lose. Even if my opponent is the invincible hero, I will defeat you, and I will advance beyond you. Take this, Mouth Slash. Hinata challenged the hero to a match with the fastest, strongest technique she has. There are no pretty tricks. There are no petty tricks. The exaltation makes the throbbing heartbeats, not felt until now. And while she is exchanging blows with the hero's sword, she realizes the increase in her sword's force. That single blow was the strongest blow with all Hinata's strength as she broke her eggshell. Back to Fritz. Fritz can't believe his own eyes. The overwhelming Hinata, the dominating Hinata. For Fritz, Hinata is the symbol of justice system he adores, though she was defeated by Demon Lord Rimuru. But after that, he was aware that Hinata grew and became stronger than before. The enemy is the hero who is stronger than Hinata, begins to respond to the speed of Hinata's sword. Fritz's perception can't follow the speed of the sword anymore, as expected from Hinata-sama, so his mind thought, then that happened. Melt Slash. Hinata's attack is sent and strikes the hero. The next moment, hero can't lose because it's hero, you know. An outrageous existence is what hero is. Yuki. Yuki's murmuring voice is audible to Fritz's ear. The voice is like a sage who attained enlightenment, but merely conveyed a simple truth. Too bad, as I thought, Hinata can't defeat me. I wonder if it was Rimuru-san, the result would be different. Yuki spoke like he was talking about something far away, as if Fritz didn't exist in the place. Fritz can't understand it. In front of his eyes, he saw the appearance of Hinata that collapsed while vomiting blood after her heart was pierced by the hero's katana. Although he sees it, although he sees it, Fritz's mind is in denial and refuses to admit it. Oh, wah, Fritz. Fritz doesn't realize that the screaming comes from his own throat. However, reality didn't waver at the situation continued as and the situation continued without caring about Fritz. It was just a while before Fritz comprehended this event. Back at Hinata again, convinced of victory, hopeless reality assailed Hinata. The special move that Hinata released overlapped with the hero's. The technique was completely on the same rank as Hinata's, but the speed and power exceeded that of Hinata's. Melt Slash. The hero countered Hinata's technique by using the same technique as Hinata, and though the execution was after Hinata's, it caught up with Hinata's sword speed, and with power it broke Hinata's sword. The remaining energy of the aftershocks even cut the dimension. The technique activated with the hero's unique skill, Absolute Severance, surpassed Hinata's strength and skill in all aspects, and Hinata's heart was pierced without hesitation with a single strike of the returned katana. Is this the end? No, not yet. There's something I have to do. A hero is a person whose heart not easily discouraged. Hinata didn't give up and was trying to stand up. However, no, everything is going as destined. She tries to use extra heal super recovery magic, but it didn't activate. She thought she heard someone's voice, the voice of a crying girl. I can still fight. At least those children and Fritz can escape. Yes, it's all right. Those children can escape safely. Is that so? That's a relief for now. For some reason, Hinata felt relieved by those groundless words. Hinata vomited blood and collapsed in her place. Although he sees it, Fritz's mind is in denial and refuses to admit it. Oh, Fritz. Fritz rushes up to Hinata and embraces her while screaming. Cold envelops her body rapidly, and Hinata notices that her consciousness is weakening, and her senses are paralyzed, through though she feels Fritz's warmth. It can't be saved. So Hinata realized. Therefore, Fritz, it's an order, because the heroes attack, the space has tore. If it's now, the transfer magic can be used. Leave this place immediately. She desperately pulled back her almost gone consciousness, and Hinata spoke those words in one breath. Hinata can't be saved, but the children, including Fritz, can escape. Who was it? Though she might have just misheard it, the words that were told seemed to be true. However, Fritz, it's an order, Fritz. I don't want to die in vain, okay? Hinata, and the children who were looking at the exchange Kenya. Uhu, melt slush. Kenya, dazzling light is generated in Kenya's hand and is condensed to one sword sweep, and the sword is Wang. Kenya uses Hinata's technique by imitating it after seeing Hinata use it. The eyes are blinded by the light from the sword flash. Though it was caught by the katana the hero holds, the strike succeeded in tearing up several of the hero's hairs and make them flutter in the air. At the same time, Alice moved. Their cooperation was perfect, as they are connected by telepathy. Everyone is wrapped by the space manipulation magic formation that Alice invented. Even Hinata, who was in Fritz' embrace after she received a single blow from the hero. Such a chain of events occurred in an instant. Dot. What remained in the place when the light of Alice's space manipulation magic formation disappears were only two people. It's only Yuki and the hero with no name. On the classroom's floor is the red puddle of blood which didn't dry yet, which vividly proved that the present event was reality. I set up so much fog so it's possible for them to escape, huh? Yuki, the hero doesn't answer Yuki's murmuring. As there was nothing, her expression was not clouded either. Even so, is this going as scheduled? Then, since we're done, shall we go back, Yuki? Yuki doesn't show any particularly worried expression. There's also no sign of regretting the failure either. When Yuki tells Kagari and her subordinates that they were waiting in the schoolyard to return, as if nothing had happened, he returned to the Freedom Association headquarters. The hero with no name too turns her eyes to look at the tear in space that restored in an instant. The light of will appeared on her irisless eyes. The aura she gave off was as if it was the expression from a different person that has begun to appear and disappear. So it started now. Hero? Nobody hears that muttering with an unknown meaning. The hero turns her legs and began to follow behind Yuki. Her steps don't have hesitation, and the doll-like presence she had up until now disappears. What was left was only a pool of blood that cannot speak. Next scene. She heard the voice calling her. Hinata roused her fading consciousness and listened to the voice. Please don't go, Hinata-sama. Nicholas. It sounds so sad. I'm sorry, Nicholas. Fritz too. I can't see anymore. I only judged it from the presence. It might not be so. Did you live your life to the fullest? No, there's still something I left undone. Even though I found a place for me to return to after great trouble, you know. Do you regret it? No, I don't regret it. If I regret it, I'm rude to people whom I sacrificed. Do you still want to live? I wonder which. I don't want to die, I think. However, it seems to be impossible. My heart is destroyed, and magic is not usable. Nicholas entreats. She also feels the grief from the holy knights who adore her. However, there's already nothing that he that Hinata can do. If she thinks about it, she was warned by her sensei, Shizu-san. Was it a mistake for her to rescue the children? No, it was correct. I puffed my chest with pride, so I was able to say so. After all, this event happened only because the enemy surpassed her, even if she took precautions. My body stopped pulsing. It's already a state where vital activity has gone. Brain waves have also stopped. It was become a complete corpse. Because of this state, even if Nicholas' revival, magic resurrection, was used, revival is impossible. Revival is only in the name, because it is still an incomplete magic. However, because she could hear their voices in the end, Hinata was satisfied. No, she must be satisfied, so she thinks, because she had left something undone. She wanted to search for and aid troubled people with her own eyes, but there was someone who inherited the will. She was blessed because she didn't die while making a mistake or while her thoughts were being manipulated. At least, in her last moments, she wanted to meet her sensei again, so she wished. Just before the will of Hinata's soul faded away and disappeared, I'm sorry, everything is just like it was destined to be. Your soul will be warmed inside of me. Eventually, the hero's egg that your soul possesses will surely emerge. Who are you? I'm Chloe. Chloe, the fifth child? Yes, due to the heroes waking, people who could recognize me disappeared. You'll assimilate into me and will become a true hero before long. What born here is the nameless hero. Everything is pre-established harmony. As for your defeat and also your death, that's somehow irritating. It's inevitable. I recognized what it was, and so to get your soul, I leaped to the past. Are the things in the future decided to? No, what is decided to that extent is unknown. What I know is this moment now, when the true hero awakened only to that extent. At the time I flew into the past, the hero whose existence overlaps disappeared and and is untied from all limitations. That is, even though it's an existence of the assimilated me and you, it can be said to be another person. Even so, will you come together with me? No, I want you to come. I see, it's a thing that can be refused, but it can't be refused, huh? Because a hero is a person whose heart not easily discouraged. To refuse here is impossible for Hinata's personality. It meant that all possibilities would disappear. More than anything, she may be able to help Shizu-san and everyone once again. Though it might be impossible, even if she calculated it with a unique skill, mathematician. However, she understood that the possibility for this is improbable. But still, I can't help but pray, because to die is to give up and make the best use of my life for everyone. Hinata accepted the offer. Thank you, she muttered in small voice to the girl. Chloe, Hinata, and Chloe's soul mixed together as one and leaped through the barrier of time to a far off past. And now the endless journey of the girl called Chloe and Hinata begins. Next scene, Nicholas confirms Hinata's death and wails. No matter how many times resurrection is used, there's no reaction. Nicholas keeps chanting the magic desperately while embracing her closely to warm the cold body that grew even colder. Unnoticed, his two hands were restrained by Fritz, but he broke free. If you disturb me, then I will kill you, so he think. Then interrupting Nicholas and Fritz, please stop it, Nicholas-sama. Hinata-sama has already passed away, Reynolds. Calmly, Leonard, who took the position as the leader of the Holy Knight, reported, but this is a cruel reality for Nicholas. What? It's impossible. It's Hinata, you know. There's no way that Hinata-sama died. Nicholas screamed. There was nobody who answered. Nicholas' words sounded out emptily. Nicholas also understood it. He just didn't want to acknowledge it. In this world with magic, at this place, he prays for God's miracle. That day, the death of the former leader of the Holy Knight, Hinata Sakaguchi, was confirmed. This is the beginning of what will happen later on. Hinata's death marked the curtain's race of the turmoil times in this world. Next scene, author's note. Previously, the egg had reached the point of hatching but not emerging. However, as an expression in the narrative, I selected emerging. Please understand it. Wait lang. Okay. End of chapter 123.